Manchester United are expected to make a fresh bid for Frenkie De Jong amid Old Trafford visit. Frenkie De Jong was one of the most talked about figures in the summer transfer window. The Barcelona midfielder was heavily linked with a move away from Camp Nou, with various top European clubs interested in his services. Manchester United, in particular, expressed the desire to sign the former Ajax starlet as part of Erik ten Hag's plans to rebuild the midfield setup that also included the signing of Casemiro from Real Madrid. However, despite the best efforts and an negation €85 million bid from Manchester United, De Jong ended up remaining at Camp Nou out of his own will. Although Barcelona were willing to cash in on the midfielder, the player refused to move on. However, a recent article from Mundo Deportivo provided an update on De Jong's situation and suggested that the Premier League's powerhouses are still paying attention to the midfielder's circumstances at Camp Nou. According to the report, despite numerous rejections over the summer, Manchester United is even prepared to submit a fresh offer for De Jong and is confident they can persuade the player to join the team at Old Trafford. De Jong's inconsistent start to the season, which saw him fall behind players like Pedri, Sergio Busquets, and Gavi in the pecking order, has rekindled Man United's interest in signing him. There is a perception that Barcelona will not hesitate to offload the player, in an effort to raise some much-needed cash, despite the Dutch international's recent rise to prominence in Xavi's setup. In order to sign newer players from the market, Barcelona must urgently free up cash and control their overworked workforce. In that regard, the sale of De Jong could significantly aid them in reorganizing the club's financial situation. Manchester United preparing the negation €114 million summer investment. Frenkie De Jong included in the list. Jake Talbot reported that Manchester United has a number of names on its list for a world-class midfielder that they intend to spend negation €114 million, £pound 100 million, on in the summer. Frenkie De Jong from Barcelona is one of them. The midfielder, who played alongside Pedri as Barcelona's first-choice CM the previous season, lost his spot to Gavi before the 2022-23 campaign. Although many assumed it was because the team wanted to get rid of him in the summer, De Jong's performances were also not doing him any favors. Unsurprisingly, Manchester United was one of the teams that were interested in signing him. Even more impressively, the Red Devils and Barcelona had come to terms on a negation €85 million deal that included add-ons. However, the player resisted giving in to the pressure from the administration. De Jong has found a bigger role under Xavi as the season has gone on, though. He has performed admirably in both his natural position as a number 8 and in a role many expected him to be uncomfortably covering for Sergio Busquets. FDJ recently assisted Rafinha on his game-winning goal against Osasuna 3 days after scoring the second goal against Almeria. And even though Erik ten Hag is understandably fond of the player, United is also interested in other players. The Manchester team is also considering Jude Bellingham of Borussia Dortmund, Bruno Guimaraes of Newcastle United, and Declan Rice of West Ham. FDJ was the subject of a negation €85 million demand from Barcelona to United last summer, but his performances this year and the World Cup may have a significant impact on his estimated market value. But given that Busquets is anticipated to leave the team, it won't be shocking if Barcelona decides to keep the 25-year-old. Manchester United have long-standing transfer interest in Barcelona star Frenkie De Jong. Manchester United now have to decide on whether to give up on Frenkie De Jong for good after it emerged Xavi was delighted with the midfielder at Barcelona. The Netherlands international came close to leaving the camp for Old Trafford back in the summer transfer window, and he's since overcome a difficult start to the season to emerge as a key player again over in La Liga. Manchester United spent the bulk of the summer transfer window chasing De Jong, emboldened by his positive relationship with Erik ten Hag, but they ultimately failed to land the Netherlands international, who never had any interest in leaving the camp for Old Trafford. Despite United snapping up Casemiro as a De Jong alternative, they're still holding out hope they'll be able to land the 25-year-old in the future. Yet a new twist has emerged that means the Red Devils may have to decide to pull the plug entirely. Barcelona midfielder Frenkie De Jong has admitted that he expected the Catalan giants to try and force him out of the club by frequently leaving him on the bench in recent months. The Dutchman was heavily linked with a move to Manchester United in the summer transfer window, but a move failed to materialize, despite the two clubs reportedly agreeing a fee for the 25-year-old. De Jong was adamant that he did not want to leave the camp under any circumstances. He has since admitted that he was under pressure from newspapers and club president Joan Laporta, but claimed that it never baffled him as he was certain that he would be remaining in Spain. "I was calm. I decided in May that I wanted to stay. My opinion has never changed during this entire period," De Jong told Ziggo Sport. "I stayed calm. But then the pressure would start to come. Yes, from the newspapers, from the president, exactly, from everywhere actually, but I wanted to stay at Barca so it never baffled me." De Jong has made 10 appearances for Barcelona in all competitions this season. However, the majority of those have come from the substitutes bench. The former Ajax man, who played under United boss Erik ten Hag at the Eredivisie outfit, started on the bench in the Champions League matches against Bayern Munich and Inter Milan, as well as in La Liga games against Sevilla, Rayo Vallecano and Celta Vigo. The 25-year-old midfielder has only started 3 domestic matches for Xavi's side, and just once in Europe. Despite his lack of game time so far this term, De Jong suggested that he was not surprised by his lack of minutes, but admitted that he was hopeful of featuring in Sunday's El Clasico against bitter rivals Real Madrid. "I want to be a starter again. Against Bayern, I was not a starter and I hope to be against Real Madrid," De Jong added. Maybe he has already decided, but normally we don't know until the day of the game. After failing to secure a move for De Jong in the transfer window, United moved late to sign defensive midfielder Casemiro from Real Madrid. Manchester United have not given up on the possibility of signing Frenkie De Jong from Barcelona, despite the Dutchman rejecting their transfer approach in the summer. The Independent revealed that the Premier League side are still in contact with Barca and will be forced to make a decision on whether they want to resurrect the De Jong deal or go all out to sign Borussia Dortmund midfielder Jude Bellingham. The England international is the subject of interest from the likes of Manchester City, Liverpool and Real Madrid. However, United believe a strong season could push them to the front of the race. De Jong is viewed as an alternative, but United boss Erik ten Hag still believes the Barcelona star is the ideal midfielder for his system. It feels like United won't be forced to make a decision until next summer. It's very likely that Bellingham will leave Dortmund at the end of the season, and he will have his pick of clubs to join. United are a huge club, but it really depends on whether they qualify for next season's Champions League. And the same goes for Liverpool after their poor start to the season. Real Madrid are probably best placed right now to sign Bellingham. It might turn into another summer of Manchester United and Ten Hag trying to convince De Jong to move to Old Trafford a broken bar, but it could be successful if they have a promising season and the Dutch midfielder struggles for game time in Spain. Frenkie De Jong insists he fully expected Barcelona to leave him on the bench in bigger matches in a bid to force him out of the club, with Manchester United still showing interest in the midfielder. Manchester United have reportedly made an inquiry about signing Inter Milan striker Lautaro Martinez, but they face competition from PSG in order to sign the Argentine. Frenkie De Jong is once again in the spotlight of transfer rumors. The Sunday Times claimed that Manchester United have a budget of more than €100 million to strengthen their midfield in January and that their top priority is once again Frenkie De Jong. The Reds manager Erik ten Hag is advising his club that they must go for a world-class player and that they cannot miss out on their first choice. Manchester United appear to have heeded his advice. The Dutchman could be the final piece of their project to rebuild. The team have been improving steadily after a shaky start, but their manager believes it is necessary to sign a player who is good on the ball and can make progressive passes into the final third. Casemiro is doing the destroying work, but they need to create a lot more attacking play. Frenkie has always been an obsession for Ten Hag, but the Blaugrana midfielder, so far, has not shown any willingness to leave camp and even less so to a work in progress like United. It remains to be seen whether the English club will be able to attract De Jong with a very high financial offer. The player seems determined not to listen to anyone now that he is an undisputed starter at Bar 8 Section A.